Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the WCPO High School Insider Podcast, Week 16, the final week of the high school football season, and we are out here at Cooper High School as the Jaguars are getting prepared to play in the Class 5A state final on Saturday night against Bowling Green at the University of Kentucky's Kroger Field in Lexington. We're going to have a little bit more about this game, and also Covington Catholic, undefeated. They're going to take on undefeated number one ranked Boyle County team in Class 4A state final on Friday night in Lexington as well. Going to talk about both those games here in a little bit. But as always, this WCPO High School Insider Podcast is presented by Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Chick-fil-A restaurants, where the winning play is always chicken. Well, we wrapped up the Ohio high school football season this past weekend with two state semifinalists, Anderson in Division II, while Moeller was a state semifinalist in Division I. East Central repeated as the Indiana Class 4A state champions last weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, and the Trojans brought home another state championship, first time back-to-back in its 50-year program history, the first time a public school in Indiana has won a back-to-back Class 4A state titles as well. The Trojans, how about this stat, outscored their opponents 740 to 97 through those 15 weeks, and certainly Coach Jake Miners deserves a lot of credit completing his fifth season with another state championship on his resume as well. But now our focus is on these two Northern Kentucky teams, Cooper and Covington Catholic, and Cooper making its second state final appearance in program history and its first since 2012. Well, let me take an opportunity now to go catch up with head coach Randy Borchers, as he's going to talk about his Jaguars' memorable journey this season and what it's going to take to defeat Bowling Green on Saturday night. Well, Coach, obviously preparing for a state championship, it's got to be a fun week of practice. And just first of all, before we talk about Bowling Green and everything kind of goes into that, just how proud are you of this season's journey and 8 consecutive wins now heading into the state final on Saturday night?
Yeah, you know, we have a very difficult road to get here. We've had to go on the road the last 3 weeks and beat 3 really, really good football teams. And our kids came to play all 3 of those. The last 2 weeks we got down, and we got the lead early and then got down, and they battled back. So our kids have been very resilient through all this, and we're hoping we can do the same thing Saturday night.
Obviously, your defense came up huge in that Highlands game, 17-15 victory. What did you learn the most about your guys? You talk about that resiliency, but just their character in that game. Yeah,
I mean, their character of just not quitting. We kind of had all the momentum early, and then right before halftime, we got a safety, and then they went and scored and kind of got the momentum back. And our kids kind of, came out of halftime. We got a 3-and-out, or they got a 3-and-out, and but our kids just continue to battle through and continue to fight, and the last 2 minutes of that might have been the most wild game I've ever seen, but they just kept fighting and they kept making plays when we needed them to, and we were fortunate enough to get the win.
What's it been like to coach this team this year?
It's been fantastic. The neat thing about this is we got very few seniors. But the seniors we got are great leaders, and they've kind of taken this team underneath their wing, and they're kind of the heart and soul of this team. But then you throw in some of the younger guys, some of the Cam O'Hara's and the Austin Alexanders, and some of those younger guys that have learned to step up and be leaders, and it's just a group that they get along well together. They all know their role and they all accept their role.
You talk about so many of your stars. We can go through your roster here, but Cam, you mentioned him. Obviously, only a sophomore, 3,100 yards passing. What has he meant just managing this offense?
Well, he's continuing to get better. At times we got to sit there and remember he's only a sophomore, and we were fortunate enough to kind of take some lumps with him early last year, and he started as a freshman for us, but he just continues to get better, and even throughout this year he's continued to get better, and the progress that he's made from game 1 to now as far as reading coverages and more importantly just knowing when to take off and run the ball and kind of command the offense and do what we need him to do to win a football game.
Talk about your defense and Jack Lonaker and what he's meant, maybe not only just this season, but just his entire career as well.
Yeah, as I kind of mentioned, he's the heart and soul of this, not only the defense, but the team. And he's a kid that played fullback for us last year, played some slot receiver, and we came to him before the year started and said, man, we need you to move to the offensive line. And his response was, Coach, I'll do whatever I can. I just want to win. And that's kind of been his mentality all along. He goes out, and he's not that real vocal leader, but, man, kids follow him because he goes 100% every play.
I mean, what's it like to see a guy have 156 tackles on the year? I mean,
you know, and the thing is, when not only does he have tackles, but man, he punishes kids, and you know, he does everything we ask him to do. He reads things, he controls the defense. You know, he's that leader out there. He makes sure everybody gets in the right place. So, you know, he's just so valuable to this football team on both sides of the ball, and you know, we surely wouldn't be where we are right now without him.
What's your message to the team as you guys prepare for Saturday?
You know, it's another game. You know, and that sounds so cliche, but you know, we have to approach it like that. And I think, you know, over the last 4 weeks, we've kind of approached it, you know, let's just go play, let's just let the chips fall where they fall, and we gotta do the same thing this week. The biggest thing that I think our kids are going to face is Bowling Green's been there before. You know, they were there last year and played a really good Frederick Douglass team and played them fairly close, and you know, this is new for our kids, and no matter how much you try to make it another game and not make it a big deal, these kids feel it in the community, you know, the buzz around the school, the buzz around the community, you know, these kids know it's not a normal game. So our thing is just trying to keep their emotions under check, make it a normal week as much as possible, and let these kids just go out and play.
What impresses you the most on film with Bowling Green?
Their athleticism. They're very athletic. They're very well coached. They're never out of position. And you know, anytime they get the ball out on the perimeter, they got 4 or 5 guys that can take the ball to the house on any given play. So, you know, we're going to have to tackle very well out on the perimeter. We're going to have to, you know, be very sound defensively. Offensively, we're going to have to be patient. They're not going to give up a bunch of stuff over the top. So, you know, we just got to go out, be patient, take what they give us, and keep the game close and try to get it, you know, have a shot at the end to win it.
As much as you say it's another game, I mean, what do you tell these guys about playing on this stage, obviously playing in a different stadium, those sorts of things?
You know, just have fun, soak it all in. You know, these kids are very fortunate. I'm very fortunate as a coach because so many kids and so many coaches go their entire careers and never get this opportunity. And for these kids to have that opportunity and be able to play for 5 weeks, you know, throughout the playoffs and be able to go down to the University of Kentucky and play, you know, no matter how much, you know, you want them to just go out and play, you know, you want them to be able to soak it up and really, you know, understand and feel the experience and have them, you know, be able to have the memories for a lifetime.
What about for you? This is your second time. 2012 was your first time you get a 100th career win this year as well. I mean, what's it been like for you this year to go to state again?
You know, anytime you coach a team like this, it's fun. You know, it's a team from day one that's done everything we've asked them to do. The expectations have been high, you know, the entire year. You know, we lost a couple games early in the year. You know, we lost to, you know, Highlands, and I think a lot of people kind of wrote us off. So, you know, we went from kind of being the expectations of having a really good season, the team's writing us off and being the underdogs, and I think these kids kind of responded well to that and took that underdog role and really ran with it. But you know, as far as me, you know, as long as you have a good group of kids and they come out and they do what you want them to do every day, it's fun and it's enjoyable to do it.
And finally, what would a state championship mean, not only to this program, but the school and the community?
Well, I think for any school, you know, it would be fantastic. You know, we're 16 years old, and we've been very fortunate. We've played in one in football, we've played one in basketball, and you know, the two that we have played in both football and basketball, we've lost to Bowling Green in both of those. So, you know, it's a little revenge for us. We want to get that, but you know, to try to get that first state championship for major sport within your school would be really cool to do.
Coach, really appreciate your time. All the best to Jaguars.
Thank you.
I'm Jack Lonaker. I'm a senior this year, class 24. I play middle linebacker and right guard. Obviously
a great opportunity here for you and your teammates. Before we kind of talk about Saturday and the state final, but how special has this journey been for you?
I mean, it's extremely special. We haven't won a playoff game since 2015 or 2016, so to win our first this year and then make it all the way to state, you know, it's really special. I mean, no one on the team as a player has won a playoff game, so you know, we're trying to make the best of this opportunity that we got.
Coach mentioned the word resilient, and you have to be if you're going to win 3 consecutive road games in the playoffs. What's this team like?
I think one thing that stands out to me is, you know, sometimes on defense, like if the offense is having a long drive, defense kind of gives up a little bit. But I think for us in that last game against Highlands, they started making some plays on offense, but our defense didn't give up. We were resilient, and, you know, we got the stops that we needed to make to win.
What's it like out here practicing? You're one of only 2 Northern Kentucky teams left. It's cold. It's the last week of November. How much fun are you having out here?
I mean, it's cold, but it's still really fun because I think the the excitement of it all outweighs all of the coldness and the soreness that everyone has. You know, we've been playing for 16 weeks now, but, you know, going to state, no one's sick of it. So,
First time back as a school since 2012. What were you doing in 2012? How old were you in 2012?
I was 11 years ago. I was 6. I don't know what I was doing.
Do you remember about that game? You probably don't have any recollection of the game or anything? Okay. Just how special is it? Just how much do you feel that from around the community and maybe the school as well, that people are pumped up for this great opportunity?
I mean, it's huge in the community. Just the other day when we were leaving to go play Southwestern, they had all of the Long Branch students out on the road cheering for us and waving for us when we were leaving the school. So I think seeing that, and all of the parents and all of our fans and our fellow students at Cooper, everyone's really excited for us and proud of us, and it's great having that from the community.
As a senior, are you trying to take this week a little slower, or do you want Saturday to happen like tomorrow?
You know, I want to soak it in as much as possible, but then there's also the other part of me that wants to play the game today and, you know, go out there. So
As you kind of reflect, I know you probably don't, you're in the moment here, but just how special has this Cooper program been to you in your life?
I mean, you know, my brother played at Cooper back in 2015, 2016, played quarterback, and you know, Cooper football has kind of been a part of me my whole life. You know, my brother playing here and then me playing here, and you know, I've known a lot of the coaches for a long time, and these players, I played with them in, you know, middle school and stuff, and it's really special, this community that we have, you know, on the field, in the locker room, off the field. You know, my hair, if you talk to anyone else, they'll probably have some blonde hair too, so just the tightness and the commitment and, you know, the ability to kind of do silly stuff like this with each other, and it just shows how tight we are as a team.
Explain the blonde hair.
So it kind of was just, you know, if we're going to state, we're going to bleach it, so we're going, so, you know, you got to stick to your word.
That's awesome. Tell me your mindset just as a linebacker. 156 tackles this year, 87 solo. You've had obviously a lot of sacks as well. I mean, what's your mentality every time you step on the field?
It's going to kind of sound stupid, but I just kind of like to hit people, you know, and that's the best position to do it. And, you know, it's really at linebacker, and I think in defense overall, you have to be a much more physical, much more hard-nosed, and someone who really, really wants to play defense, someone who really wants to, you know, fly around, smack somebody, and celebrate after, because if you don't want to, you know, it's no fun. And I think you have to really want to do it to be good at it.
What are going to be the keys against Bowling Green?
Stopping the pass. They pass a lot. Playing sound defensively, playing sound offensively, making the plays, the big plays, and then also the smaller plays that we need to make to stay in front of the chains and to keep them from getting, you know, 2nd and 3, 2nd and 2, to stay in front of the chains on offense, prevent the big plays on defense, and we should be all right.
Coach Borchers mentioned it's just another game. But I know that's kind of difficult probably to wrap your head around. You know, you're going to UK and all that stuff and playing, but what is the mindset in the locker room right now?
I think everybody is as relaxed as they can be. Obviously, there's a lot of, you know, stress because it is the biggest game that anyone's ever played at, you know, here. But I think everyone's taking it in as much as they can and staying as calm as possible, but still being excited for this opportunity.
What would a state championship mean, not only for this program, but the school and the community?
I think it would mean a lot for everybody. I mean, we lost in 2012 to Bowling Green in football. Basketball went to state, I want to say it was 2015. They lost to Bowling Green. So, you know, they have a history of beating us in state, and we're trying to change that narrative.
Jack, all the best of luck to you and your teammates.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Best of luck to you, man.
Thank you.
Great job. Well, as Coach Borchers mentioned, this team has been resilient all season long, and that was evident certainly in that 17-15 victory over Highlands in the state semifinal last weekend in Fort Thomas. Certainly this is going to be a Bowling Green team that's going to present a lot of challenges for the Jaguars, but the Cooper high school football team has proven it can win on the road, as 3 consecutive road wins, and it's going to be interesting to see how they match up against this Bowling Green team on Saturday night. But everything kicks off on Friday night as Covington Catholic is going to take on undefeated Boyle County. CovCath making its 10th state final appearance. Remember, this has been a special journey there in Park Hills for Coach Eddie Eviston. Undefeated group trying to win the state championship for the first time since 2019, and they have all the offensive star power. We talk about quarterback Evan Pitzer and tight end Willie Rodriguez. How about their defense? It's really been strong this season as well. They defeated Paducah Tillman 22-14 in the state semifinal last weekend as well. So Covcath going to face this Boyle County team that is also undefeated, and we're going to see what happens there in Class 4A. An opportunity for 2 state champions out of Northern Kentucky this weekend, and certainly going to hope for the best for Cooper and Covcath. Well, make sure you check out my story on WCPO.com right now, as the OHSA and Pro Football Hall of Fame just announced a 3-year contract for the state football finals that's going to begin in 2024. So you have the state finals up in Canton at least through 2026 with 2-year options on that as well. This is the first time since 2011, unfortunately, we don't have a local Greater Cincinnati team in the OHSA football state final, but certainly hoping to get back up to Stark County next year. Make sure you check out this WCPO High School Insider podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks again for listening and watching us all season long, and we will talk to you again sometime soon. Thanks.